Hello, hi, welcome once again to M5's new English language learning program, Let's Speak English. I'm Gav Duncan and I'm here on your TV screen to help you learn English. Now, are you sitting comfortably? Yes? Good. And are you ready for today's lesson? Yes? Good. Okay, well let's learn English together. Okay, play school, play away, the magic roundabout and Captain Pugwash. Paging Mr. Ben, paging Mr. Ben. Okay, here we all are, ready and willing for another English lesson. Pa-chang! Okay, are you ready? Yes? Fab! Curly Whirly and Fox's Glacier Mints for everyone. Okay, let's settle down and get stuck in to today's lesson. Now, do you remember what we learned this week? Of course you do. I was kidding, but just to make sure, in case anyone fell asleep during the week, let's quickly run through what we learned this week. Okay, well, this week we looked at can and can't, and then we met some new people. Mary Benchfield's mum and dad. Mary's mum is called Jenny, and Mary's dad is called Joe. Do you remember? Joe's a bit of a rocker. He's got jet black hair and a quiff. Joe's also got tattoos. Blimey, he's hard! Ooh. Now, also this week, we looked at the different relationships that we have in families and the relationships between family members. We know that my parents' parents are my grandparents and that my father's brother is my uncle and I am his nephew. My mother's brother is also my uncle and I am also his nephew. Only boys and men can be uncles and nephews. My uncle is my sister's uncle too, but my sister is his niece. Because my sister is a woman, she is his niece. Only girls and women can be nieces. My father's sister is my aunt and I am her nephew. My mother's sister is my aunt and I am also her nephew. My aunt is my sister's aunt too, and my sister is her niece. Only boys and men can be nephews and uncles, and only girls and women can be nieces and aunts. When we talk about our grandparents, we normally don't call them grandfather and grandmother. That's very formal. We normally call our grandfather granddad or grandpa. We normally call our grandmother grandma or granny. When we have to identify our grandparents, we've got 4 grandparents, normally we use their surname to show which grandparent we're talking about. So, this means that Tim and John and Elizabeth and Doreen Benchfield have got 4 grandparents. They've got their dad's parents, Grandpa and Granny Benchfield, and they've got their mum's parents, Grandpa and Granny Taylor. The relationship between the grandparents and the Benchfield kids is an easy one. The kids have got grandparents and the grandparents have got grandchildren. For the grandparents, Tim and John are their grandsons and Elizabeth and Doreen are their granddaughters. Simple, isn't it? Okay, are we ready to move on to the comparative adjective form? We are. Fantastic. Here in lesson 60, that's right, this is our 60th lesson together. Congratulations to all you gods of English. No, really, I mean it. This is quite amazing. We've been learning English for 60 lessons. That's really fantastic. Gods of English, I salute you. Okay, now, where were we? Oh yes, I remember. This week, we looked at a new form of adjective. Now, we all know that we use adjectives to do what? That's right. We use adjectives to give information about nouns. We can say, that's a dog. We give some information with that sentence. But if we add an adjective or more than one adjective to the sentence, we can give more information about the noun. That's a big black dog. Okay, so we use adjectives to give information about nouns. Great. This week, we met a new form of adjective, the comparative. We use this adjective form to highlight the difference between different things. I am 46. Muddy is 42. I am older. Older is the comparative form of the adjective old. We can use it to show the difference between things. Me and Muddy. I am older. Or we can say that a Maserati is faster than a Riva. Faster is the comparative form of the adjective fast. The Riva goes from 0 to 100 kilometers an hour in 8 minutes. The Maserati goes from 0 to 100 kilometers an hour in 2 seconds. The Maserati is faster. Now, we also learned about the spelling changes we have to be careful with when we make the comparative form of an adjective. Do you remember? If the adjective is short, if it only has one syllable, then we add ER to the end of the adjective to make the comparative form. If the adjective ends in vowel plus consonant, then we double the last letter and add ER. If the adjective ends in Y, we replace the Y with IER. If the adjective is a long adjective, if it has 2 or 3 or 4 syllables, then we make the comparative form of the adjective by putting more in front of the adjective. We also learned about some irregular adjectives. The comparative form of good is not gooder or more good, but better. The comparative form of well is not weller or more well, but better. The comparative form of the adjective bad is not badder or more bad, but worse. Mabel, Mabel, if you're able, show us all that in a table. Excellent. A poke of chips for everyone. Okay, now, are you ready for some more? Of course you are. You're a god of English. Quickly, run to a mirror. Look at yourself in the mirror and scream! I am a god of English. I am ready for some more. Bring it on, Gav. I'll wait for you here. Ah, good. You're back. Is the mirror okay? Yes? It's not broken? No? Oh, good. Okay, here we go. We know how to make the comparative form of an adjective. Now, we're going to go one step further and use the word than after comparative adjectives. Okay, think about the sentences we made about me and Muddy. I am 46. Muddy is 42. I am older. Okay, that's fine. But if we use the word than after the comparative adjective, we can make a better sentence. I am 46. Muddy is 42. I am older than him. A Maserati costs more than a Riva. This means that a Maserati is more expensive than a Riva. I can run 100 meters in 2 minutes. Usain Bolt can run 100 meters in 9.81 seconds. Usain Bolt can run faster than me. Usain Bolt can run faster than anyone, really. Okay, now let's combine what we've learned this week, the Benchfield family and the comparatives. Right, let's get it on. Okay, let's see some information about the Benchfields. Let's start with the kids. Mabel, Mabel, if you're able, get us the info in a table, please. Okay, so there's the table. Now let's make some sentences about the Benchfield kids using comparative adjectives. Whee! Okay, let's think. we should start with Tim. Tim is 14 years old. John is 9 years old. This means that Tim is what? That's right, Tim is older than John. Good. Now, what about a sentence about Tim and Elizabeth? Tim is 14 and Elizabeth is 13. So, Tim is also older than Elizabeth. Okay, we're on a roll. Tim is 14 and Doreen is 12. So Tim is older than Doreen. In fact, Tim is older than John and Elizabeth and Doreen. Great. Now, let's have a look at Doreen. Doreen is 1 meter 49 centimeters tall. She's 149 centimeters tall. Okay. Elizabeth is 1 meter 57 centimeters tall. She's 157 centimeters tall. This means that Doreen is shorter than Elizabeth. Using the information in the table, we can see that Doreen is shorter than Tim, but she's taller than John. Great! And what about Elizabeth? Well, look at the table and we can see that Elizabeth is older than Doreen, and she's also older than John. Elizabeth is younger than Tim. Fantastic! Cadbury's cream egg, Yorkie bar, Monster Munch, Skips, rhubarb and custard, scampi and lemon knickknacks. Okay, onwards, gods of English. Let's have a look at John Benchfield. John is younger than Tim. John is younger than Elizabeth, and John is also younger than Doreen. John's brothers and sisters are all older than him. John is shorter than Tim. John is also shorter than Elizabeth. John is shorter than Doreen. So, John is shorter than his brothers and sisters. John's brothers and sisters are taller than him. Okay, so let's have a quick recap. We often use than after comparatives. I'm taller than Moddy. Moddy's younger than me. We can also modify the difference when we use comparative adjectives. We can say that something is a bit bigger or much bigger than something else. I am 46. My granny is 96. She's much older than me. I'm 46 and my friend is 45. I'm a bit older than him. He's a bit younger than me. I weigh 96 kilos. My nephew weighs 46 kilos. I'm much heavier than he is. Canada is much bigger than Hungary. I can run 1 kilometer in 4 minutes. You can run 1 kilometer in 3 minutes 50 seconds. You can run a bit faster than I can. Tim Benchfield is 14. His sister Elizabeth is 13. So Tim is a bit older than Elizabeth, and Elizabeth is a bit younger than Tim. Tim is 14 and John is 9. So John is much younger than Tim, and Tim is much older than John. Elizabeth and Doreen are 13 and 12 years old. So Elizabeth is a little bit older than Doreen, and Doreen is a little bit younger than Elizabeth. Excellent! Well, that's all we have time for today. That's the end of today's lesson. I had fun today in our 60th lesson together. I hope you had fun too, watching out there, somewhere in Hungarian TV land. Well, gods of English, it's been fun today, and I can't wait until we meet again next lesson. You have been watching me, Gav Duncan, on M5's English language learning program, Let's Speak English. I'm Gav Duncan. I'm not Darth Vader, and I'm much taller than Yoda. I'll see you next lesson. See you later. Bye.